Hi, Creative Katie, Karen Birchall here. Welcome to my channel, Mixed Media Creations. Follow me on all my social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, and WordPress. Search for Creative Katie and you'll find me. If you wish to support my channel, you can shop through my Amazon influencer links or make a direct donation through my PayPal link. Both can be found in the description box below. Thank you so much. Please subscribe to my channel. Click on the bell and select the option to get notified as soon as I upload a new video. Today we have for you a mixed media tutorial. I love lavender, and this is all about lavender dreams. So I'm working on an 8 by 10 canvas panel, and these are great to work on because it's a solid surface. And I've dug out some of my colored coffee filters, and I don't have the color I need. I don't have enough blue, so I'm just going to create some of those. But I'll put a link to the video where I show how I create designer coffee filters to use in collage in your mixed media projects. It's one of my build your stash videos. So usually I use the coffee filters to sop up leftover paint. And I use whatever stencil I have and whatever colors I have that are out. It's part of my cleanup process. I'm just applying the paint with the Ranger blending foams. And then I just grab this Sunflower Mandela stencil from the Crafter's Workshop, and I'm just using a darker color just to get some pattern on there. And it's amazing how lovely these papers are. Well, you'll see as I use them. Then I just let them dry. Now I'm going to collage the entire background with these coffee filter papers. And they're like tissue papers, but just a little bit different. And they collage so amazingly. So you haven't given this a try, give it a try. I'm sure you'll use it. The colors become more vibrant when you use them. So I do rip them up because I want to get the torn edges and that textural addition to my canvas. And I'm applying this with gel medium, but I've done it with Mod Podge as well, so use what you have. But I do recommend a matte finish at this stage. I'm overlapping, going around the edges, and getting a nice flat surface. I'm loving how that Sunflower Mandela that I used on the coffee filter is just adding that little bit of interest to the background. And if you take the time to make the coffee filters in a build your stash session, you will have them at the ready so you can easily get a background done. I'm putting some of the blues on top of the greens. This is going to be the backdrop for my lavender. So of course I want sky and grass or greenery, or the illusion of it, because it is abstract. I'd just like to take this time to thank Barbara Radmalker for her donation through my PayPal link. I'd also like to thank all those people who bought my sentiment packs. Thank you so much. The money that I raise in that goes directly back into my art studio, whether it is, for batteries for my camera so I can videotape, or paint, or some new products that I know you want to see how they work. So again, I thank you for my support. And if you can't support me monetarily, support me by giving me likes, leaving comments on the video. That also sends the message to YouTube that people like watching these videos and they're more likely to become more played. I love the look of the collaged pieces because it's not so perfect. Now, I could have just taken the coffee filter and put it on straight, and if that's a look you like, that is an option. And I've done that on smaller pieces. Now, while I'm doing this on a canvas board, this can be done on an art journal, it can be done on an ATC or an iCAD, or even on a regular canvas. The techniques that I show can be put onto any kind of background that or book that you want to use. So you don't feel that you're limited to doing exactly what I have. I like these canvas boards because they can be just displayed on an easel and they look absolutely lovely. Typically, if I'm using it like that, I paint the background or the back of it black just to make it all neat and tidy. Or they can be popped into standard size frames. So I'm just making sure that everything is down, that I don't have any edges. And quite often, I admit it that, once it dries, I go back and I'm touching up a little bit of gel medium here and there just to make sure that everything is down perfectly. You get the wrinkles, you got the layered, you have the texture, you have the visual texture from the stenciling. So once that is completely dry, I am going to paint my lavender on there. Now I am not much of a painter, but I can handle this. So I'm mixing, I believe it's Hooker's Green with some gray because lavender has that kind of gray tone to it. Now I'm not painting this off of an actual picture of lavender, and I'm going for very abstract lavender fields. I'm using a liner brush here just to make the lavender stalks. And you just thin your paint a little bit if you're using the liner brush. And I'm just starting. Because there's gel medium on there, if I make a real bad mistake, I do have some time that I can come in with a baby wipe and get rid of it and try again. So I have my white, my dioxazine purple, and a light purple. And I honestly don't end up using a lot of the light purple. And I think I would have added at this stage my Prussian blue. The first dioxazine purple that I bought was more blue than the Liquitex Basics one, and I liked it better. So I'm just putting it on this thin brush and just starting at the top and making the lavender, I'm not sure what kernels? I'm not sure what they're called. And I'm not too worried about, I don't want the same color. I don't want one tone. I want multiple tones. I'm adding interest in there. And I'm just starting. Make some of them go off the edge. That adds interest to your painting. Every once in a while, I do clean off my brush because it gets too muddled. And again, this is very abstract. But the purple, that light blue permanent in the background, and the green just sing together. As a color combination, it is a lavender dream. They just work so well. And that is something that I've learned in the past, that I like that color combination, that they seem to really pop together. And so now I will deliberately use that. But you won't ever learn those things unless you play and experiment and, yes, sometimes fail. But nothing's a fail. Either because you're learning all the time. I now finally live in a place where I can overwinter and grow lavender, so I'm quite happy. And I'm just filling this in. Now, at this time, I'm thinking I'm going to put the word relax or dream or calm on the bottom right-hand corner. In my mind, that's where this is going to go. But don't ever, stay fixed to an idea, because sometimes when you start creating, different ideas come, and sometimes they're better. I'm just filling this in a little bit more, adding some stems and branches, and really just playing it by ear. I don't have, I'm not going off of a picture. I'm just adding. I want this to look light and airy. Some of these I'm thinking, okay, I need to ground this a little bit. And as I've said numerous times, I am not a formally trained artist. What I've learned by doing, and I'm willingly and openly sharing that with you. But if you want the technical instruction, that's not me. That's. And I'm just filling it in. If you were going to start this, and you want to give this a try on an iCAD. Try, on an ATC, on a smaller surface, because I know sometimes the bigger space you panic, or just practice on scrap paper before you do it on the canvas. I've definitely done that when I've done my finger paint florals, and I'll put a link to that video, my technique tag video, in there. And I'm just adding a little bit of dark and light here and there, just following my instincts, I guess. But I did leave all of it in, even though I've sped it up to some degree. Just so you can see the entire process. Just adding more shades of green to the stems. So I am practicing. I figure, I'm thinking I want to put some butterflies on here. And I'm just stenciling these butterflies onto, I have a coffee filter there just because it happened to be close. And I'm going to cut them out to place them where I think I want the butterflies to go. Again, I'm visual, and so I will do that step. So I'm using this, I believe it's white pearl modeling paste from the Crafter's Workshop, and putting these butterflies in. Now, when it's wet, you need to let it dry before you overlap another stencil and muck it up. And I do muck it up, and I'm going to actually show you how I fixed it because I was so upset with myself. Sometimes you can hold it up, but the better plan would be just to let it dry. But I am impatient. So there are my 3 butterflies. And I do muck up one of them. So there I'm testing out different stamping that I have for the word, but they're not giving me enough oomph of what I want. So then I decide, I'm just going to paint some more lavender down there. Just fill that corner up with a little bit of the lavender color because it looked kind of odd being so blank. And this is where you kind of go with where the piece of art takes you. Now, one of those butterflies, the modeling paste, I think the bottom left-hand corner one, I mucked it up. And because it's modeling paste, it's really hard, especially if it starts to dry, to get it off and completely, especially if it's on a textured surface like I have this collaged paper underneath. So what I did is I put this, let it dry, put the stencil back on like you see me doing here, and put another layer of modeling paste, of the same modeling paste. And that worked really well. Surprise, surprise. So you learn something every day. Now I have the leftover modeling paste on the stencil, so I grab one of my quickfire quote journal colored papers, and I put those 3 dragon or butterflies on there. So now that one, all I need to do is add a quote, and that one's pretty much done. And I haven't wasted any material. So I do get the Prussian blue out. I put those masks on, and I splatter because I don't want the splatter on top of the butterflies. So here are some close-ups of the finished 8x10 canvas. I love this piece. It just reminds me of a summer day. And when I take close-ups of a certain area, look how nice this would be just for an ATC. Perfect composition idea for an ATC. Or a greeting card. So keep watching because I have some suggested videos for further inspiration. Bye for now.